To the person who's feeling a little lost right now, I just want to say, you're fine. Really. You don't need to rush to figure it all out. You're not behind and you're not broken. You're just exploring. And sometimes the world moves a little too fast and expects us to know exactly what we want. But the truth is, nobody really knows at first. We're all just figuring it all out in real time. And honestly, there's something kind of special about that.
Money team, money team, money team, money team.
Like literally right here.
You look back confused.
Yo, I'm not even supposed to be here.
What's the word?
I'm not even supposed to be here, dog.
VIP!
I love being behind the bar, the rhythm of the shift, the stories shared over drinks, the feeling of being needed in that chaos. For a long time, it really did feel like I had everything that I wanted. But, always a but. Somewhere between last call and that last train ride home, I asked questions. And not because I hated what I did, because I didn't, and I still don't. But I began to wonder, was this it? Was this the life that I was building? Or was I just filling up a schedule? And I thought about time, my time, and what it would mean to wake up one day and know that every hour was mine to spend. So I made a quiet promise to myself to show up for my shifts with that same passion while doing my best, while building something bigger behind the scenes to create those options and that freedom, that lifestyle that I've always wanted to have. Because you can love your job and still want more from your life. And that doesn't make you ungrateful. It makes you honest. I wasn't just making drinks anymore. I was running the floor, managing people, handling problems as they came. The small things. The miscommunications, the timing, the energy of the room, they all became my responsibility, and it wasn't easy. Some days, it really did feel like putting out fires. But then, I started to see the bigger picture. I started to understand people, what motivated them, and what burns them out, and what makes them stay.
Hey, yo. Exactly. Damn. Interesting. You better have the audio here.
I learned that leadership isn't just about barking out orders. It's about presence. It's about knowing when to push and when to check in, when to step in and when to let somebody learn on their own. And I started thinking about business differently. I saw how margins worked, how customer experience is literally everything, and how the little systems that you build behind the scenes make or break the night. And all of that changed me. It gave me discipline. It gave me confidence. But it also reminded me that this was somebody else's dream that I was running. And I had one of my own waiting for me. So I didn't quit. I just started building in the background, day by day, until the voice in my head got louder than the noise around me. If there's one thing I've learned from managing the bar, it's that the product doesn't make the place, the people do. You can have great drinks, a perfect menu, good music, but if your team doesn't care, none of it matters. And what makes a bar successful isn't service, it's actually trust and communication. Having each other's back on a slam night, knowing who can handle the pressure and who needs support. And that, managing people, was the hardest part of the job. Harder than inventory, harder than bartending, harder than staying calm when everything's on fire. Because people are so unpredictable. They burn out, they clash, they carry things you've never seen before, and they still show up for their shift. And it taught me patience. And it taught me that No matter what business you build, it always comes back to how you treat people.
Can I do a side one? Would you like
Just keep it right like here. I only come in here tired, so
Now that's going much.
I retracted and said it.
It's perfect.
Perfect.
And after closing when the lights went off and then the music stopped, I'd be still in work mode. That's when I'd start working on the thing that actually belonged to me. I'd open up my notes, check on Shopify, tweak something small, and some nights I'd upload new products. Other times, I'd check in with my VA, review some content, or just watch some training videos. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't fast, but it was progress. And every night I got a little more clear on the kind of life that I was building. Nobody asked me to do this, and nobody expected it. But after everything I've learned running somebody else's business, I know I wanted one on my own. And big up to Trevor and Marcus from Peak Flow. They're the ones who put me onto the high-ticket e-commerce business model. And since then, I've made a little bit over $50,000 online. They're helping complete beginners go from zero to their first sale, sharing everything they know for free through their Skool community and YouTube channel. So if you've been on the fence about building something substantial and you're looking for an escape route from the matrix, then consider checking out the links in the description below. And don't get me wrong, I know building this life that I want isn't going to be easy. I've tried this many times and I catch myself falling back into the same old habits of procrastination. And that's that one thing that sets me 3 steps back every time I take 1 step forward. I would always push things to tomorrow, and again, I tell myself I don't have enough time. But the truth is, we all have the same amount of hours in a day, just some of us know how to use them more effectively than others. And I'm definitely one of those people who loves to push things to the next day. I catch myself being busy, but not busy with the things that actually move me closer to my goals. And I'm sharing this with you because I know I cannot be the only person like this. But here's what I've realized. It's not about being perfect every day. It's about catching yourself faster when you drift off course. And that's the real difference between staying stuck and making progress. The people who win aren't those who never fall, but they're the ones who recognizes it, forgives themselves, and then get back to it sooner. That's something I'm still working on. Learning how to stop the cycle before it spirals, to remind myself that one bad day doesn't have to turn into a bad week, and one bad week doesn't have to turn into a bad year. Because time will pass, whether you like it or not. The only question is, will I spend it avoiding the life that I want, or building it, even if it just takes one small step at a time? So if you're sitting there telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow, just know, I've been there. And to be honest, I still find myself going back there sometimes. But at some point, things have to change. And sometimes, eventually, is all we really need.
Yo, Chun, how busy is it? It's crazy. Crazy.
And if you're still feeling a little lost right now, that's okay. You're not supposed to have every answer figured out on your own, but you are responsible for going out and finding them. And the fastest way to do that, well, Find somebody who's already walked that path you're trying to take. You see, mentorship isn't about having somebody hand you success. It's about having somebody show you where the cliffs are, so you don't have to waste years falling off them yourself. And you don't need to have a celebrity mentor or some millionaire guru. Sometimes it's just about following somebody who's a few steps ahead, somebody who's already fought through the doubts, made the mistakes, and kept going. And they'll remind you that it's possible, that the struggle you're in right now isn't the end. As a matter of fact, it's just a part of the process. And if you don't have access to that person in your life yet, again, you're still one decision away from finding them. They're in books, podcasts. As a matter of fact, they're sharing their experiences on YouTube right now for free. Success has never been more accessible, but you still have to choose to reach for it. So don't just sit in the feeling of being lost. Go out there and look for people who's already found their way. Study them, learn from them, apply what makes sense, and just leave the rest behind. Because every great story you admire started with somebody who didn't know what they were doing either. They just found somebody to help them figure it out. And eventually, you'll be that person for somebody else too. Thank you so much for watching.